Hello, greetings from Waliczka, near Krakow in Poland, again, hot on the heels of the previous video. As I've said many times now, I'm going to keep doing more and more of these. I think it's the best way to try and help elevate things. Anyway, before I proceed, I'll just mention what's playing at the moment. This just arrived yesterday. Ultan O'Brien, and do forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. It's his debut solo album, and he's an Irish fiddle player, although there is some percussion accompaniment on a couple of tracks and even some vocals on one track, I think, or maybe again on a couple. Never heard of the guy before. This was sent to me to review, I believe, from Ireland's Nya Records, NYAHH, and it's mostly this traditional kind of fiddle, playing, or viola playing, and I think it's based on something, and I have to refer to some notes here, and sorry again if I'm mispronouncing anything, Shan Nos music, which goes back several centuries in Ireland. Shan Nos. I'm probably completely mispronouncing that, so no offense to any Irish people. So should anybody from there be watching, or anybody of Irish heritage, so Irish stock. I think my own family's got some Irish in there somewhere, actually. So from my long gone father's side, but I might be misremembering that. Anyway, really nice music, and I'll be writing something about that in due course. So really good label, actually, this Nya Records. They seem to do a lot of really interesting stuff. Anyway, in addition to that, from my meagre earnings from teaching and proofreading and everything else, I've also treated myself to that. The debut Lard album. I've got their other 70s work, but I hadn't got this debut from them. So I'm looking forward to that. That only arrived a couple of days ago, and I've got this. So these are my treats, my first treats to myself for a while. Pink Floyd live at Pompeii, the Stephen Wilson remix. So they both arrived a couple of days ago as well, and also received a CD by the Rain Parade to review as well. But I've listened to it once, and I don't know. I think I had an album by them back in the mid '80s, and I don't know. Nah, it's a bit too soft and light for my taste. But I'm not as harsh as I used to be when it comes to writing about music. I can appreciate different areas of music far more. I'm open to a lot more stuff than I used to be. So I'll be reviewing that in due course. Anyway, so that's music received. But I am really enjoying this. Some vocals there, but I'll just turn that down. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Ultan O'Brien, Dancing the Line. I'm enjoying it. It's a little away from what I normally listen to, but what do I normally listen to? I'm sure most people think I'm listening to dark music, moody, mysterious, whatever. But no, I think this week I've had Tangerine Dream on again. I dug out some David Bowie the other day. played some John Coltrane a few days ago as well, one of my LPs. So I've been in the mood for that, whatever that kind of stuff is. Yeah, and I've played a couple of other CDs on the pile. A couple of kind of, abstract electronic releases. But yeah. Anyway, I don't just listen to moody, dark stuff. I do from time to time, but probably not even half as often as most people might imagine. I think I've said it before. Many years ago, somebody once said that they thought I was an industrial guy, and yeah, I like some industrial music. But I also like Marvin Gaye, and and the Byrds. I was thinking about them a couple of days ago, and Love. I can listen to all that stuff as well, and Xenakis, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So my tastes go in many directions. But anyway, what else did I want to write about? I did a lot of moaning in my last video from 5 days ago, and that seemed to draw more people than usual. Usually I'm lucky if one of these uploads attracts 100 to 150 views, but the last one got 250, I think, to 300. Maybe it's gone up even more now, so maybe I just need to moan more in these. Maybe that's the key to their success, because right now I'm not very ambitious with this, but it would be nice to have more subscribers, more likes, and all the rest of it. And again, I'm mostly here to promote what I'm doing with the labels. Sometimes talk to somebody else who's involved in music, which I'll discuss more in a minute. I've got some news on that front in a minute. But yeah, I'm mostly here to kind of promote what I'm doing with the labels and update people. And I said it on the previous video, but one of the reasons for this is because it saves me then having to contend with so many inquiries. I could just write back and say, please watch this, and hopefully everything's kind of answered. If somebody's sending me an inquiry about a release they ordered and they're getting impatient about, because they haven't received it yet, and just say, well, I'll talk about that here. Have a listen, have a watch. So yeah, it just helps. And I think other people just do watch these just to keep up to date with what's going on anyway. So yeah, but I am trying to push it a little more. It would be lovely if I could get more subscribers, 500. Maybe that will help me receive more music to talk about as well. So I'm happy to do that as well. I like talking about other people's releases. I like writing about them, but writing is something I don't have as much time for as I used to. Anyway, let's go on to this. There we are. Finally got some restocks of this. Grim Humour, Book 2, the second volume. I've got a few people waiting for a copy of that, but there are some available again. So if you want to get that, get in fast, because I don't have a huge amount. As I said, some people are probably waiting for a copy of it, but I've got some more here. It's back in stock, and buy a copy. No reprints of the first volume yet. Maybe in the future, maybe, but I'm really trying to focus on the third volume at the moment, and I'm way behind schedule with that, because again, the labels, despite all my suggesting otherwise, with the lack of funds and everything else, which is true, it's absolutely true. My labels run on empty pockets. generally speaking. Despite all of that, I am busy. I am busy packing orders. You know, the When Worlds Collide double LP, which landed 2.5 weeks ago. I'm sending those out at the moment. Got the Kleistwahr double CD as well. I'm sending those out. So I'm really busy dealing with lots of orders these days. Richard Young's LPs have now all gone from here, I think, unless one got snagged in one of the many piles of outgoing packages. I hope not, but I think I should get through all of them. But there might still be a few copies of that in the post somewhere, on their way to their recipients and to the customers. And Richard Young's on top of that. But the Kleistwahr double CD and I've sent out all the direct orders of that as well now. But the When Worlds Collide is going to keep me busy for another couple of weeks or so at least. And it's I can't complain that so many people bought a copy of it, pre-ordered it. But it's keeping me really busy, and it just prevents me from doing writing, So, and I've got the extended network double LP arriving soon as well, probably the week after next. It might well be early August now, and I'm really sorry about the delays. But Steve Pittis, my good friend and my contact for a number of my releases, my vinyl releases, has got some personal matters going on at the moment, and I'm trying not to bother him, to be honest. So I'm not chasing him, even though Cargo Records are on my case to find out what's going on. But family matters, health issues, all the rest of it come way before all of this, and Steve's a friend and I respect that. So I'm trying to leave it alone. But the extended network LP will be here fairly soon, and then I'm back in the thick of that as well, So I hope to get as many of these double LP compilations sent out as possible in the meantime. Not receiving many orders for it as well. I received quite a good number of pre-orders for it, but now it's actually here, and I've got 30, 40, maybe even 50 unaccounted copies that are unaccounted for. I'm not receiving any orders. I keep pushing it, and I don't know why. It's got Edward Ka-Spel, Bass Communion, ATV, Final, Kleistwahr, Splintered, Mott, Orgon, Sinestra, Band of Pain, Ashtray Navigations. I think I've said everybody. Edward Ka-Spel, I said. Yeah, it's got a really nice selection of artists, and most of these tracks are exclusive, and the double LP is limited to 500. I mentioned before about the sound postcard, the vinyl postcard having arrived, less than a week ago, or maybe it was a week ago, maybe it was last Friday afternoon that arrived. There are 100 copies with that. And then the other, it's ultimately a limited edition release, and I'm just surprised more people are not going for it, it sounds good. All of the tracks work really well together. I hope other people agree. I do accept that many compilations can fall and fail for various reasons, but this is a good one. It's really solid. It's solid work. I didn't even organise the track order. I left Sean Orgon to do that, and I think he did a really good job in sequencing the tracks, the running order. So they all work really well together. It's a good compilation. I'd say the same thing if somebody else had released it. So that's always been partly my criteria for anything I release. I think this is something I would buy if somebody else had released it. Like Richard Young's LP, the Zirkless LP. I would buy that. all the Kleistwahr stuff. I buy it. I buy all of these releases. So yeah, that's always been one of the golden rules for me. I'm not releasing stuff that I don't like. It's as simple as that. I need another slurp of Yorkshire tea. And I polished it off because it's starting to go cold, so it's not good. Anyway, yeah, I mentioned the Edward Ka-Spel sound postcard and the compilation double LP. I've got huge bills here, pressing down once again. I do feel very close to doing another campaign to fundraise again, but I think it's too soon after the one at the beginning of the year. But I sense problems afoot unless I see more direct orders, and including for the deals that I've got going in the shop. There's vinyl deals, there's CD deals, there's lots of stuff in the shop. I'm not going to itemize all of the separate deals below this. Go to the shop, you will find vinyl deals, you will find deals for stock that I've traded with, where you can choose several titles for a certain amount of money, not a high fee either, and then it's just shipping on top. The same in vinyls. There's one for CDs and one for vinyl. Then I've got a vinyl deal because I've got a surplus of Hunting Lodge returns, the triple LP returns. I've got about 30 of them here. They need to go. They need to go to homes. And I have to deal with that, with the final double LP and the ATV LP. So I can just make a little space because this place is full of bloody boxes at the moment. It's ridiculous. And I need to get to my record collection so I can sort out some more stuff to sell to help me fundraise. I need to find another 30 LPs to sell probably, and probably more of my singles will go in the next the next box to my contact in England, my friend who buy stuff from me. So I need to do that. And I really need to try and raise money at the moment. I don't quite need 4 figures, but almost, So to that end, if you've caught up to, if you've caught up with all the releases you want from my label, or you've got pre-orders waiting to happen, but you feel like supporting what I'm doing, there's a donation button below. If you just put a few pounds in that, it's appreciated. Every few pounds adds up, I've got these deals for those 3 albums that I mentioned, the vinyl albums, £42 plus shipping for Hunting Lodge vinyl and ATV. If I just had 10 orders for that would help make a difference right now. It really would. It's that simple. The Kleistwahr double CD that arrived 2 weeks ago. And I appreciate it's a shit time of the year to sell anything of this nature, or even anything in general. So, because people need money for holidays. I think people are feeling the pinch at the moment because, cost of living has gone up so much in the last couple of years. Finding surplus money for, releases or whatever, or books or whatever, it's not easy. So I do appreciate that, and I'm in the same boat. I am trying to keep the labels going, and operating above water. And I do have some other releases in the pipeline, but I really need money coming back to pay the bills before I can then push the other releases into production. I've got the local Cashmore CD, 9th Circle Beyond the Sun. I've got Fallen Suns Parallel Disalignment CD happening in another month or so. I've also got the next Kleistwahr CD, The Battlefield is Everywhere. So, as part of Gary's ongoing one new CD a year campaign. He does other stuff. He does reissues as well alongside all of that. But I try to sort those. But at the moment, my money situation is not looking and I really did anticipate a little more support for this double LP, this compilation. I thought I'd have received another 20 or 30 orders in the last week. I've had two fucking orders. I mean, you know, it's crazy. So yeah, that's the reality of things. I'm just checking to see if I've overlooked anything. I have made notes this time because I do tend to overlook things. Yeah, I've mentioned everything about its YouTube channel, subscribers. I've talked about other music that I've received or even. Yeah, and I hope that doesn't give it the wrong impression, you know, because the Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii album's not cheap, but I teach as well, you know, I've got a real job as well. Now and again, if I've got a little surplus cash and everything's more or less in order, all the household bills have been paid and all the rest of it, I will treat myself to a book or a couple of records or a couple of books and a record or whatever each month, unless things are really, you know, rock bottom and tight, as they have been for at least a few months this year so far. But no, I've got enough money and enough work coming in recently to just treat myself. No, it's not coming from, you know, label money or anything like that. No, I keep all of that separate. So yeah, I've got the Edward Ka-Spel LP as well, the Sympathy Paul. That's just waiting to just be pushed into the final stage. Near the end of the Mott book as well. We've been working away at an interview that's meant to accompany all of the illustrations that will be included in this book of his art. He's got the music ready for the CD. So I think we're quite close to the finishing line with at least priming this for the artwork stage. But then I've got to find money for that as well. I've had a certain amount of pre-orders, but not really enough for my more ambitious idea. And those Edward Ka-Spel sound postcards, they're bloody expensive as well. I've got a bill, I had a bill for them as well. If I had known, and just so typical of me, you know, if I had known how expensive they would be, I'd never have done them. The only other time I ever did a sound postcard was with the Cindy Talk 12-inch collaboration with Philippe Petit, and that was years ago. And I'm sure we did 100 or maybe 50, but I thought they were 200 or 300 euros at the time. That's probably going back 10 years. And I thought, maybe there'll be 400. No. You know, twice as much, at least twice as much as that, you know. And you know, I was that close when I got the price to just say to everybody I need to abandon this idea because it's ridiculous. And that hasn't helped my situation. It's kind of crippled me as well. I shouldn't have done it, but it's a nice thing to do, and I promised to do it. And I don't like letting people down. It is nice, and I know one day in the future I'll look back at it and appreciate it far more than I do at the moment, simply because it's, you know, my appreciation is countered by how much it costs, you know. And even yesterday I was thinking, why didn't I do a slightly high price for the 100 copies of the double LP, the compilation, with that included? Why, you know, it would have just made a little difference. It would have helped. But yeah, well, anyway, you live and learn. I will leave it there. I've done enough moaning today, mostly about Polish drivers. Well, I only ever compare Polish drivers to, you know, people on the road in Britain or England, more specifically. They're bloody atrocious over here. And I generally am positive about Poland and Polish people, but, you know, they block roundabouts, they use their indicators. I was moaning a lot this morning as I drove our daughter to and from well, drove her to the kindergarten and then drove back afterwards to do some work, to do my English lessons. And weirdly, my moaning about them, as I was, you know, sitting there behind the wheel and, you know, fuck this and fuck that, and, you know, these people can't bloody drive. It put me in a really cheerful mood. So, go figure. And now, doing this, kind of going back down again, because I'm thinking about the labels and how they run on empty pockets. Anyway, a few pounds in the donation link, if you can spare a few pounds. If 100 people put £3 in, that would be ideal. That would help. That would make a difference. Oh dear. Well, it wouldn't make a huge difference, but it'd be a step in the right direction. Otherwise, please buy stuff from the shop. That's what I really wanted to do, because that new stuff. I've said everything. Thank you very much. You made it to the end. 26 minutes. Bloody hell. I can never keep it short. Sorry about that. Be back here soon. Oh, I'll be back here hopefully with Nick Hamilton of Horn the Plenty label and Central Bazaar. We'll have a chat here soon. Watch this space. Trying to track down a couple other people as well. Excuse me. And I did moot the idea to Michael Cashmore, but like everybody, he just politely declined. Edward Ka-Spel might be up for it though. I'll have to ask him. He's done one of these things before, I've seen in the last year, so maybe he'd be up for it, just talking about music he likes and so on and so forth. Yeah, and he's a nice guy. He could be good. I'll think about him, and I'll even moot the idea to him. But Nick Hamilton of Horn of Plenty label is up next in probably a week or two. Thanks a lot. Cheers.